Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. We're GabNet, and we've got you covered live 5 nights a week. First Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, it's The Exchange.
Let's capture, who are all these people who are watching these cooking shows? And they're stoners, right? So I'm wondering, is this a program that Netflix has absorbed? I don't know, what is the purpose of Netflix making a 14-minute show? Now, aside from those 2 interesting facts about this show, the show is fucking terrible. Do not watch this show. It fucking sucks.
Tuesday through Friday at 10 Eastern, join Alex Bennett on the Ramble.
Say goodbye to the unions.
Renee, what was the decision? And then we'll go to Patrick.
It doesn't matter. Just say goodbye to the unions.
No. But I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you what was in the decision yesterday.
I'm going to look it up.
Okay, let me look it up.
Yeah, he'll go look it up at GlenBeck.com.
Tuesday through Friday at midnight, The Intersection.
Most high school boys, what have we got on our mind? Sex and girls and sex and sex and sex.
And booze and drugs.
Yeah, the Asian guys I knew in high school, I don't know, I'm sure they thought that way, but perhaps they were more disciplined about it. Although there was this Japanese girl in high school that your old friend, the Black Avenger, had the hots for. Oh, my God. Be still my sake wanting to drink self.
If you like sports, we've got that too, with The Arena, Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Well, and even if you did that, it doesn't give you the right to grab your Uber driver's private. I mean, and like, what part of that to him sounded like a good idea?
Oh, she played a special song.
Catch up on all the shows with our Weekend Flashback. All shows have the Citizen Panel, an exclusive concept of GabNet. It's new, it's daring, it's talk like you've never heard it before. Spotify has 180 million monthly users and access to 35 million songs and podcasts. Now, all those offerings are going to have to move over and make room for GabNet programming. Yes, at long last, Alex Bennett's Ramble, Damian Chaplin's Exchange, Jack Bishop's The Intersection, and even the franchise MC's Arena and Michael Snyder's weekly movie reviews will be fighting for space on this massive platform. Each day, the programs are updated, so you can hear them on the Spotify app, available for all smartphones and game consoles. Or you can just go to Spotify on the web at Spotify.com. So, give us a shot on Spotify. There's a 35 million to 5 chance we'll get people to listen to talk like they've never heard it before.
Jack Bishop of GabNet's The Intersection. Tuesdays through Fridays at midnight Eastern Time. It's everything from what's going on with the new royal couple to what's happening with that grumpy old man in the Oval Office. Movies, music, old TV shows, you name it. From thoughtful discussions to out-and-out fights like my grandma would referee between my uncles. So from mild to wild, join me, Jack Bishop, Tuesdays to Fridays at midnight for The Intersection on GabNet Live. It's talk like you never heard it.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Until midnight Eastern Standard Time. There we go. What are you doing?
I don't hear it.
Do you hear it now?
On this side?
Are you hearing it? Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Are you getting it? Okay. I just want to make sure you're getting it okay. Yes, so that you can hear it. All right? All right. Is that fine? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see if you're centered all right, because I don't think you are, because you feel that you have to do that with your foot.
Well,
so
it hurts when I just have it hanging.
What?
It hurts when I just have it dangling down.
No, okay. Well, move your cap up because they can't see your face.
I don't care.
They can't
Friday
see your
night
face.
And I'm
They
tired.
can't see your face. They can't see your face. They can't see your
That's
face.
it.
That pretty little face. Oh boy. It's Friday night, yeah, and so you don't give a shit. You don't dress up for my show anymore.
Well, I kind of dress down to what, I mean, we're wearing the same things.
What? They can't see what I'm wearing under this. I look like I'm all dressed up here.
I see that.
This is my costume.
Listen, I had a rough week. I mean, after I broke the knee and had surgery, and then I fell and had a concussion. This week I lost my wallet.
You forgot the other accident.
What?
When I fell in the street on Broadway.
We're talking about me.
And my wounds were worse than I thought they were.
We're talking about me.
And I'm in pain. Go ahead.
I lost my wallet.
Yeah.
Well, that's a major thing.
It is?
Did you take a stupid pill?
Look, that is, to me, there's got to be a way to prevent that.
Well, there is. I'm going to buy one of those little things that you clip into your thing, and it's like a sensor.
Yeah. Yeah, but those, I think we looked into them.
Yeah, they were real
problem.
big, but now they're making them small.
Yeah, but still, would that have told you where it was?
Yeah, it has a GPS in it.
I thought that the only thing they were good for is like around the house, if you were looking around the house for it.
Well, bottom line, I think my wallet is around the house, even though we've looked everywhere, because I went from the house to Starbucks to the office. And the two places that I went before the office didn't have it, and I didn't realize it was missing till at lunchtime when I went for my wallet to go get lunch.
But I don't know if there's a tag that, like, for instance, let's say you put it in your wallet.
Yeah.
All right? And then you lose your wallet.
Yeah.
That will tell you where it is.
It's a GPS.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
How much do they cost?
About $24.
No, you're thinking of the other ones they came out with, and they would only find them if you were within range of your phone.
Well, I'll look at the specs again.
Yeah, it was that token thing. It was yeah, and tiles. That's what they call
that's
it.
what
Tile.
it is.
Yeah. Well, no, but there's
so much for that. Anyway, that was my week, and it's not so much canceling everything; it's getting the new stuff and then having to change everything because a lot of my bills are paid directly off the credit card. I also have my business credit card, and 70% of our office is paid off of that credit card every month.
You should have a monthly thing you pay to, like a insurance of sorts. And if you lose your wallet, you simply call this company.
They have a company.
And they have all your stuff, and they'll go get the cards for you and everything.
They do all the legwork. Exactly. Like with passports, they have people that do that
now,
too.
do they have a service like that?
Yeah.
And do they have it like on a monthly basis?
I don't know. I haven't checked it out.
Well, will you check it out? Because I'm thinking of emptying out a lot of stuff in my wallet, except for one credit card, my Costco card, which is easily taken care of.
Yeah, I have to get it in person there because
Yeah.
I have to give them a... Oh, and I don't even have a photograph for identification, so I've been walking around with my passport, and everybody says, oh, don't carry your passport with you. Well, that's my only identification.
Yeah, you need it.
I need it
Yeah,
until
yeah.
I get my driver's license or my... that's the only thing that has a picture.
Yeah, I think, well, the biggest problem with replacing that stuff, replacing it is an annoyance, but it's a minor annoyance compared to the fact that you then got to figure out all the people that you've told to use that card to pay a bill.
Exactly. Like I got a notice from AT&T that my payment didn't go through. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to deal with that. That's the first
what
one.
do you do? They just let you write back and give them a new card?
No, I went online and I changed my preferences and put the new card on there.
Yeah. But I mean, but having to do that, you know, I made a list of all the cards and people that I have to pay with cards. What I'm beginning to find is the best idea if you can do it on any given site. And years ago, Gary hated What do you call it?
eBay?
No, the other one.
PayPal.
PayPal. But now he doesn't hate it as much. As many of my things as I can, I put on PayPal. So they go to PayPal, use my card on PayPal. I mean, it doesn't cost me anything.
Yeah.
Use my card on PayPal, and if I have to change my card,
you can.
I can go there and change maybe 75% of the bills that I have every month.
Do you have automatic bills from there?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Things like my like the what do you call it? The server that we use to put this program out every month. It goes right directly to PayPal.
See, I've only used PayPal when I buy stuff on eBay. I've never used it for anything else.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
I just didn't know.
That's something.
What's that?
Oh, I don't know. Ray Renati. Bluetooth. Oh, Bluetooth, but will connect with everyone else who has these if you lose something. I don't. Well, we'll talk. Call me later.
Call early because I'm going to bed early, and it's 10:12 already. Alex, should I move over?
No. We're not opening the phones yet. Now, wait a minute. Now, hold on a second.
So that was my week.
Yeah, your week was spent, and then on top of that, she lost a really nice wallet.
Well,
which I bought her as a Christmas present, a couple of years ago?
Yeah, and they stopped making it.
And they stopped making it. This is Toomey, who, they find something, they should keep making it.
No, like my bag. I had to buy the bag from Adrian because she had the last one.
Really?
So I wore that to shreds, and then I finally went out and bought the update, which I don't like.
Toomey makes a great bag.
They do. They last forever.
But she doesn't like her newest. Wallet because it has a gold.
It's gold zipper, and it's just not my thing.
It's not your thing, but you wanted a Toomey.
I didn't want it Toomey. I just know that's where my last one came, and I didn't have to walk any other place.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of returning it and looking elsewhere.
Yeah, oh boy. Okay. Well, anyway, I felt bad for you when you lost.
I know you're sweet.
Yeah. That was the worst part, I think, about it.
God, it's like, what's going to happen next?
But everything, all your identification. Now,
everything.
I
your
think
driver's license.
You should check tomorrow. I think my Social Security card is not in my wallet. I have it here.
You don't need your Social Security. You don't need to walk around with that. You need your Medicare and your health stuff.
Yeah, but I could keep that here until I need to use it.
But like stuff like my debit card. So they gave me a temporary ATM card, but just for ATM. I thought it was a debit. So I was in a taxi and I shoved it in and it wouldn't work.
Now wait a minute. Now let me ask you a question here. When you had to do your Medicare card, was that easy enough to get?
Yeah, I did it over the phone.
You can do it over the phone, or you did it online?
No, I did it with a woman. She helped me.
And then they're mailing it to you?
Yeah.
But did they get you a temporary one or anything?
No.
So what happens if you have to go to the doctor?
You go. I mean, do I have a temporary one? No. It's in the mail.
It's in the mail. Yeah.
But I have all the other stuff.
You know what you don't have?
What?
Your Metro card.
Yes, I do, because that's in a separate place.
What?
I keep it in that. Remember that little thing I bought for you?
Yeah.
I have that too. And
I have to find out where that is. Yeah.
I just have my Metro card, the key card for our office, and a New York identification card, and that's it.
That might be, yeah. That might be, because you lose your Metro card. We have senior Metro cards.
Although they're doing it now for everybody. Although not senior prices, but they're doing it. Where you...
Oh, no, they do it where you can use a card and have it refill itself.
But they didn't have that.
They didn't have that before.
Right, but now they do.
But the senior passes, which are, I think we pay $1.50 a ride or something like that.
Yeah, and then you get some freebies every 10 trips or something. You get a freebie.
Oh, do we?
Who's calling you?
Well, Ray Bernardi keeps writing stuff here.
Why is it making noise?
The tile is Bluetooth, but it will connect with everyone else who has tiles. If you lose something and tell you where you lost the wallet or whatever, even if you are, we'll ask.
And that's the tile thing.
That's the tile.
Yeah, we'll find something.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's a GPS one because it takes a little more technology to be able to send out a GPS signal. You know, you'd have to have some kind of battery in the thing, and you know.
Anyway, that's my week. On top of like the last 3 months of my life.
Well, you know what happened is you got tripped by this woman,
A tourist.
Who then, of course, I mean, she helped you up. And,
Well, 4 of them helped me up.
Yeah, and they were concerned, and then they went on their merry way. And
Well, Hans came by. They were going to walk me to my office, but Hans came by and he kind of
They didn't realize the devastation they left behind.
Yeah.
To begin with, 6 weeks of initial wearing the brace. Now another 6 weeks of wearing the brace when you're out.
Because it's healing slow. It's healing, but it's healing slow.
Yeah.
So that means till the end of February.
But they don't realize that maybe half of your year is going to be taken up with recovery from just a minor thing.
Well, right.
I mean, I'm lucky when I fell on Broadway the other day that I didn't do more damage to myself than I've already done.
Then when I took the fall and fell on my head, that was...
Look at this. I mean, this is still a week later.
It's all about him, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about him.
I've still got this here. I don't know if you can see that gazorchness there, but it's all scabby and
10/17.
Terrible. But I mean, you know, the problem is that when you lose your wallet, you lose
everything.
Your identity.
Yeah.
You're neutered, right? So, you know, it's terrible. It's just terrible. Oh, and I feel sorry for you. Oh, they're there.
And even Social Security, I couldn't get a card because I didn't have a driver's license.
We can't see your eyes. It looks
I don't
terrible.
care. I don't care.
Well, we do care.
Well, I don't. So you want to argue about that? Then I'll go to sleep now.
I'll move the camera so it's right in your face. Don't yell at me.
I'm not yelling at you. It's been a hard week for me. Be nice.
Well, it's been a hard week for me too.
It's all about you.
Because the foot has been killing me.
Oh.
Well, I cut my foot when I fell because somehow inside my shoe it went.
Get my violin.
It did something and it cracked the flesh in the heel, and then it's healing very slowly because it's down there in my foot. You know, the worst thing I ever had was when I burned my penis.
Oh, you told me that. Yeah.
I was barbecuing in my oven.
He got confused with the hot dogs.
And I was naked, and I think I had just been jerking off and had a hard on, and I went to turn the ribs over, and I pulled the thing out, and it hit the penis, and I went, oh boy.
Did you have a blister?
It took 3 months to heal.
Wow.
Because the problem is, and the same problem with what I have on this heel, when things are not exposed to the air, okay, they have a harder time healing. And especially if then you are always using the heel and walking on it, it takes a while for it to get better.
Yeah.
In the case of the penis, it's in your pants, which is a hothouse. Okay? So it has much more, even if you get somewhat of a scab on it, it then, while you're sleeping, the heat and everything, it comes off. One night I was sleeping on my stomach. Everybody, turn off your computers or this show if you don't want to hear the next part of this. I was sleeping on my stomach and it adhered to the linen.
The scab?
The scab. And in the middle of the night, I rolled over.
Ooh, and it ripped off.
I bled like a stuck pig. But that penis was out of commission for about 3 months.
Wow.
You know. And for a guy who was in his sexual prime, this was, and had quite a few girlfriends, this was not a good thing.
How old were you?
I was in my 40s. Yeah. But I burnt my penis.
I haven't done that.
Well, no.
I'm just saying.
Well, no, you know, if you did burn your penis, you'd be a freak of nature.
That's true.
Yeah. I was going behind.
It's 10:20.
I've got a problem here. I've got so many things plugged in down here. I don't know what's plugged in and actually terminates anywhere.
Well, you can.
And what isn't plugged in. So,
bunch them together.
No, so
and
I'm going to have to go in here in about a week when I decide to put that new computer in
Just
here.
don't do anything down there. You ruined me.
No,
I mean, 2 hours I spent on that today.
Everything from that point onward doesn't get touched.
None of the stuff I put on the computer got saved. Nothing.
Well, that's not my fault.
Well, you didn't tell me you were going on the computer.
It saved itself. I sat there as it saved itself, but the file that it saved wasn't workable.
Whatever that means.
Well, anyway, so you got to redo it. All
Yeah.
right. But anyway, the point I'm making
1021.
is I have to pull out all the electrical here and re-put it in because I've got, power strips after power strip after power strip down
I
here.
don't think people want to hear that.
And then I've got to rewire the whole
Does
thing.
anyone really care?
So that all the I've got to find enough plugs openings for plugs and shit like that. It's terrible what I'm going to have to do.
Okay.
I may if I do
Yes.
no. If I do it next week. No, it's only 22 minutes past the hour. Don't even think I'll hit the foot.
Don't you dare.
Yes, I will.
I'll step on yours.
You step on mine? Okay. Who's going to hurt more? Okay. Anyway, the point is that I'm going to have to take, I'm going to do it over a weekend, but I may not be able to go on Tuesday if I'm not finished putting it back together again.
And your point is?
Either that, or I might find that just one day of really working at it, but just pull everything out and then just all plug them back in, that I could probably do it in one day.
Well,
but
if you
I don't
do it
know.
by group, if you section, you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can, Alex. You can be very organized about it.
Oh, yeah. You can't be organized with electronics. I'll tell you something right now. This is a snarl of wires down here, okay? If I take everything out and I say, now I'm going to redo everything, and I plug the plugs in places and so on and so forth, by the time I get the last wire in place, there'll be another snarl.
They have hoses that you can put.
I've done those. They don't work, and plus they get dusty, dirty, and disgusting.
So ties, use ties.
I use ties a lot.
All right.
I use them a lot, but that doesn't help either. But we're
1023.
Anyway, so I may have to take the network off and everything while I redo this whole studio. Don't even think about it. You've still got 7 minutes, and maybe I'll make it 9 or 10 if you keep doing this.
Hey, at 10:30 is the cutoff. Anything after that is gravy. Is my treat to you.
What do you mean 10:30?
A half an hour.
Why is that the cutoff?
That was the agreement.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just stay for half an hour so I could have somebody to talk to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway. Nobody's paying attention to this, by the way. Usually we used to get some pretty high numbers with you, but you're just not as much fun as you used to be.
Because we don't argue.
No, we don't. Because I've been taking the nice pill, but I'm going to stop taking the nice pill.
Here it goes.
I'm going to stop taking the nice pill.
He takes a nasty
Because
pill.
I think it's making my feet hurt more. I don't know. But I'm taking...
I couldn't tell you.
I'm not taking... the nice pill does make me nice. It makes me... I am lilting. It's the gabapentin, folks. I don't know if that's the...
Okay.
What do you mean, okay?
Well, we ran out of stuff to talk about.
You still got 5 minutes.
We ran out of stuff to talk about.
Well, Trump. She sits... I got to tell you about her. And I hate to tell you this, but it doesn't work.
What doesn't work?
She sits there at the television set while Trump is on yelling, "Shut up, you fat fuck."
So?
Well, he doesn't hear you.
I don't care. It's getting it out of my body.
Yeah.
It's getting the venom out.
Shut up, you piece of shit.
Yes.
Yeah. And then if she finds a woman she doesn't like on TV, she constantly tells me, we were watching Shark Tank and they had Bethany Frankel on. And you just, every 2 minutes, I hate her.
She's a cunt. She really is.
Why is she?
She's just so snippy and,
I don't like her, but I don't think she's a cunt.
I do.
Kirsten Gillibrand's a cunt, but not Bethany Frankel.
She made one mistake.
What, one mistake? Big mistake.
I agree.
Sexist mistake.
I agree.
She did it all for her political future.
Yes.
And do I want that kind of person in office? No. I'm too bad. Cortez isn't old enough. I'd vote for her right now. She's really cool.
Yeah, but she's got a lot of learning to do.
Would it be wrong of me to say she's hot?
No.
Oh, okay, she's hot.
Okay.
That's why I can't figure out why Phil hates her. Because Phil, he should love
Phil's getting worse.
Alexia Ocasio-Cortez. AOC, they're calling her.
Phil seems to be getting worse.
Or OAC. AOC.
AOC.
Yeah. What? Phil's getting worse?
Yeah.
Well, because he can't justify Trump's actions.
It's true.
And it's starting to frustrate him because Trump doesn't give him any leeway, for stuff that he can do. I'm getting stuff ready here.
Okay, well, it's 4 minutes.
Yeah,
it's going to take me 4 minutes to roll over.
It's not going to take you 4 minutes to roll over. Let me see here.
Well, because I have to put my foot up and I have to change chairs.
I have to do a few things here.
All right, so you do that, and I'm going to maneuver over here.
Do you want me to open up the line?
Yeah.
Okay. The lines are now open. Wait a minute. Don't do that.
I'm just moving.
Well, okay.
I have to get my leg up here.
All right. So let me see here. Let me get rid of that. And let me get rid of that. And I've got to clean some things up here, folks. I know this isn't making much sense to most of you listening to the audio version of it, but it's just stuff I got to do in order to be ready to, to talk. Oh, come on over. Move over. Let me. Oh, wait a minute. I got to do something here. Hold on a second. Not now. Let me see here. Let me. Boom. And there we go. Move you in. Okay. There
Position me.
Huh?
You position.
Well, you got to hold your. You got to have your foot on that chair right now.
Well,
you're leaving soon anyway.
Well, can I put it on here?
No, there's no room for that.
And I'll leave it there. This will be fine.
She's a mess, folks.
I am.
Oh, here comes Jeff Stein.
Hey.
Yeah, that's Jeff Stein coming on. Let me see here. Let me go to the panel there. Here we go. And hello, Jeff. How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So it looks like a Christmas tree over there.
Oh yeah, that's Pam's Christmas tree.
Wait a minute. Do you know what the date is today?
It's the 25th.
Pam, do you know
I don't want to hear about it.
Do
That's till Valentine's Day. No, we have it on the 11th. It'll be gone by the 9th.
Well, first of all, you don't have a Christmas tree past, say, the 5th of January. That's for starters. Wait a minute. Let me finish.
I can have a Christmas tree as long as I want.
And secondly, I assume you're Jewish just like your husband.
Yeah, you assumed wrong.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, so you're goyim.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Shiksa. You're shiksa.
Okay, so you get to have a Christmas tree, but you lose your license if it isn't down by the 5th of January.
No, the 25th.
Not true.
Now, is that an electric tree?
That is a real thing, babe.
That's the real one.
Tree. I got to put water in it. You just reminded me.
Yeah, so what is it like to be married to a Gentile, Phil? Jeff?
Phil?
Yeah. Fantastic.
Huh?
Yeah.
But
He's looking for
Right
something.
answer, right?
I don't know what he's looking for, but he's looking for something.
But
Marjorie, how are you feeling? I hear you hurt your head, girl.
I had a concussion.
Oh,
And then I lost my wallet this week.
This has not been the year for you. It's
Yeah,
6
I mean,
months.
I have it all over. It's all done with.
Good.
Yeah.
That's right. This is the third thing. So
Yeah,
now you're done,
exactly.
right? They said that 3 thing, or
Yeah.
whatever that.
3 times.
Three
Yeah.
times.
3 times you're out. That's
Yeah, well, I'm definitely out.
wait a minute. Let me hold on a second. Let me do something here.
I'm not water my Christmas tree. Feel better, Marjorie.
Thank you. Take
Yeah.
care. Hope to
Okay.
see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Anyway,
Bye
yeah.
bye.
Hello to Rob Alfano. Hello to Ray Renati.
Look at Ray.
Hello.
What were you trying?
Hello.
What were you trying to tell us, Ray, about?
The
Bluetooth.
tile. The tile is Bluetooth, but if anybody else walks by something that you leave somewhere far away and they have a tile, it will notify you, and you will know where it is on a map. If other people have a tile.
Yeah, but not
near your
how many people have the fucking tile?
A lot.
I don't know.
We bought them, and I never used them.
We returned them. We
I use
returned them
mine
because
all
they
the
were
time.
so big.
They were too big, and what happened is that they only work on the basis of the Bluetooth. So it's if you lose your wallet around the house, you know,
It's good.
and that wasn't enough for me, you know. I don't think it's in the house.
I get it.
I do.
You do think it's in the house?
Because I did two things before lunchtime.
Mm-hmm.
I took a car service and I went to Starbucks, both of which I don't need cash. I didn't need my wallet. So it was only at lunchtime when I went to look for my wallet, I realized it wasn't there.
So you didn't use your wallet at Starbucks?
No, I haven't.
And you didn't use your wallet with the car service.
And he looked all over the car and it wasn't there.
Well, maybe you just.
Do you have anything with odor in there, like weed or something? You can get a dog and sniff it out.
No.
Yeah. Hello to Charles Wallace, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Charlie.
Charlie is back being a regular again.
Good.
But that's the good news for us. The bad news for him is he isn't getting laid. So,
Nope.
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, losing your wallet is just, you know.
It's horrendous.
It's horrendous. And we've all had it happen. You know, what happened to me was the one I was lucky with was it fell out of the back of my pocket and fell on the pavement in front of the apartment house. And somebody actually came up, rang the doorbell, and said, "Here's your wallet." They found it on the ground outside.
Remember the time somebody found my wallet and took it to the police and they brought it to the house?
Yes, and that was very nice.
That's great.
Yeah, that was very nice. It was the day after I had wound up paying $1,200 to get your door opened on New Year's Eve because I felt so bad about it. You know, and that was when I didn't have any money too.
You were working.
Huh?
You were working.
I was working, but I didn't have any money yet. I was living on a what's the word? Week to week. So, anyway.
Paycheck to paycheck.
Paycheck to paycheck. Oh, there's Phil. I didn't even notice Phil joined us.
There he is.
Well, does this look familiar?
What?
What is it?
It's a Toomey wallet. Is that what you lost?
No,
Yeah.
no. What she lost was a really nice one. It's really nice.
Well, it's a nice one.
Yeah.
But, hey, I'm sorry you're having all of this bad luck, Marjorie.
Well, let's see. We got the concussion. The concussion was really good. I enjoyed the concussion. That was fun. To begin with, she falls on her head, and then she starts throwing up. I'm going, she's got a concussion. Immediately.
It didn't hurt you a bit, did it?
No. But then she starts writing a letter to her office. Mm-hmm. And she says, "Is this okay?" And I read it, and it makes no sense
The words
whatsoever.
were all jumbled up.
One word did not follow the next. You know, it was I for two, you going now for them.
Jeff knows what that's called.
What's it called, Jeff?
A stroke.
Oh. No. But she's better now.
You're muted, Jeff.
Yeah.
Muted.
She's back to her. She's back to the way she was, which is still not that far from a concussion. So, you know.
Now, don't you have repetitive problems in your head right now?
I
Did you get like little headaches and stuff?
I still get headaches, but not the way it was in the beginning. It was 24/7 in the beginning.
Yeah, are you getting them now?
Yeah, I just had one this afternoon, but not as bad and doesn't last as long.
Yeah.
And you only get them when Alex is around.
Exactly.
Post-concussion syndrome.
Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does extra
That's what he
strength
called it,
ibuprofen and
concussion
coffee.
syndrome. He called it that.
Yeah.
The doctor.
Yeah.
Look where I was today.
Wait a minute. You obviously went to a hospital.
Yeah.
And they gave you that little bracelet.
Yes, they did.
Why were you at the hospital?
I had an appointment at the urology department. I just thought it was for an exam, you know. But I get in there and they put this thing on my wrist, and then the nurse hands me this piece of paper and it says cystoscopy. I said, what? She says, yeah, that's why you're here. I said, I didn't know why I was here. I just had an appointment. I showed up. You know, I paid my copay. I sat down in the chair. Cystoscopy.
Cystoscopy.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Isn't that about your prostate?
No, that's about your bladder.
Yeah, they stick this thing up your penis into your bladder, and the guy looks. He says, "It all looks good."
I had two of them, and I finally got rid of that urologist because it seemed like he really enjoyed giving them because it was expensive, an expensive procedure. And they don't do a good job of hiding the implement before you or sit down there either. They just it looks like a giant snake. Yes, Brian.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Marjorie. Does regarding your headaches, does like strong caffeinated coffee and like 2 500 milligram headache pills help at all, like they do me when I get migraines?
Well, I never had a migraine before. I mean, this was like really the first time. I used the same pain medicine that I used for my back, and it seemed to help.
Yeah. So, but she's not getting the headaches as badly as she was in the beginning.
No, and I'm not dizzy when I get up. I was really dizzy.
And the head doctor told her that she's going to be fine. They did an MRI, and they saw the concussion, did they?
They did a couple of MRIs. They did one on my neck, one on my head. They did something showing the flow of blood from your neck.
Don't you have to go for
brain.
another thing?
I have to go for a balance test this week.
Really? Yeah.
You see those things where they show the like the brain.
Hold on a second, Ray. Mute yourself, would you? Because we're getting all that air conditioning sound. Oh no, it's not him.
Sounds muted.
I was muted.
Oh, then who is it? It must. Huh.
Hey, else.
It's somebody. It could be.
So, what were you saying, Brian?
No, I was just asking if like it helps with me. Strong coffee, French roast, like we were talking about last night, or something strong like that, and some migraine over-the-counter pills.
I do nothing over the counter.
Yeah.
I think it's Brian who's emitting all the noise.
It was. I turned it off.
I'll tell you something. Our friend Adrian takes gabapentin for her migraines. I guess gabapentin is the drug they give everybody for everything, But it seems to make my feet feel worse, so I'm going to stop taking it for a couple of days.
And with that, gentlemen, because there's no women up there, I'm going to say good night.
Good night.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night.
Isn't that disgusting? Two old people kissing.
Feel better.
Two old people kissing. Isn't that disgusting?
It is.
Yeah.
No.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Phil, good job.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I did with the mini Mac Mini?
Yeah, what'd you do? Sell it for $1,000?
No, I replaced Marjorie's Mac Mini with that Mac Mini, so she has a slightly faster Mac Mini.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So
now I have another Mac Mini. I don't know what to do with. Maybe I'll sell it or something. I don't know.
Maybe you can run the show off that one. Oh no, you're already running the show off of Mac Mini.
No, I'm running the show off of
the network.
Oh, the network I run off of Mac Mini.
Oh no, the network you're running. Off.
Yeah, but I'm hopefully I'm dreading installing this Mac Pro because I just got to do so much rewiring here to just make it. As long as I'm going to be down there changing it. I mean,
Can I make a suggestion?
What?
You get some tape that you can write on, and you label everything before you pull it apart.
No,
you label where it goes and what it is.
That's what I should have done.
And the other end before you touch anything.
That's what I should have done.
If you just start pulling, it's game over.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, no, it's not game over because what I can do is I can install the Mac Pro and just hook in the hard drives that I need to hook in and leave it at that and not really, and then I just have a few things that I have to move up from the other thing and just leave it at that. Or I can choose to neaten everything up, right?
Yeah, but if you're going to neat it up, just whatever you pull out, label. Even if it's just a color, different colored tapes or something to that effect. Just
thank
you,
Phil.
Do yourself a favor.
Thank you, Phil, but I won't do it. Anyway.
Of course not.
Yeah.
We'll see you in 2 weeks on Gabnet.
No, I'm not doing it this weekend. Yeah. you know, I probably should just do it simply and install the Mac Pro and leave it at that, and then start cleaning everything up, you know. But I'm having it's going to be it's quite a thing. So, plus I have to replace all these things that I have where my USBs went into with new ones that I bought for like $50 each that are 3.0 Bluetooth.
Bluetooth? How much?
Not Bluetooth, USB.
$50 each.
Well, these are all Bluetooth, and they're about $35 for the cheap one, and then there was a more expensive one I got that actually has 10.
It's a USB hub, right?
It's a USB hub, yeah, that has 10. So, you know, you know, I mean, I can flop them around here just like the rest of them are, but I just feel I got to neaten things up, you know.
Yeah, mine on the USB hub, there's 3 that are for charging.
Yes, so I know. I got one of those, but then the second one doesn't do that, but it has 10 USB ports on it.
They come in handy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, I want to be able to actually take most of my USB devices and put them all on those 2 hubs, okay?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there's only 4 inputs or 4 USB slots in the Mac Pro.
Yes, that's one of the reasons why I got them.
Yeah.
And these are all hooked into power, so they're electrically operated.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're strong, you know. So I mean, you can take one of those plugs in the Mac Pro and put 2 other of those things coming out of just one of those, you know, and they'll be fine because you've got the electricity driving the signal.
Can you just daisy chain them?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You know, daisy chain them. And then I got a little thing. It turned out it only cost me like maybe it cost me $20 for an audio to USB, and I didn't think it would work because I was thinking that it didn't have the right inputs or whatever. I hooked it in the studio in the guest room, and it works perfectly. Just works perfectly. So I can now go in through the USB.
This is the thing I was talking about, which is a USB to analog converter.
Yeah, but I already have that.
Yeah?
I don't have that one, but I have another one, and it was cheaper and smaller.
Yeah, $29.
Mine was $20, and it was smaller, and it works just fine. You know,
but mine's prettier.
No, it isn't.
It's comfortable.
It's red.
Yeah, mine's just like about this long. It's got a little thing, and that's it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little thing.
I guess that's the reason why. And actually, if I wanted to have more USB ports, I just have to get Thunderbolt to USB. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know what why they think those Thunderbolts are a good idea.
It's fast.
It's fast.
It's faster than the USB 3.
Well, if you want to pay for a hard drive that's a Thunderbolt, I suppose it is faster. But do you know how much more they cost than the average hard drive?
Well, you know, that's why I got the Drobo. You know, it's Thunderbolt.
Why do you keep saying Drobo? You like the name Drobo. It's a piece of shit just like any of those other things like the one Rob got.
No, it's quiet. And
so's mine.
And the dashboard's really intuitive.
I have a dashboard on mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know.
What, Phil? What, Rob?
It's frustrating because nobody's even nibbled on it yet. I'm going to wind up giving it away.
I'd buy it from you. The only problem is you say it makes noise. I don't need that in a studio.
Yeah, it's not good for a studio.
Probably, you know why it makes noise is because you bought one that has the installs them inside the box. I have the one where you just pull them out from the front.
No, I think they vibrate because the plastic sleeves that they use, the caddies that they use, are cheap crap, and they use these rubber grommet type things that they look like screws, but there's no threads on them. And all you do is, there are 4 screws on the side of the drives. They don't even snap in; they just fit in. And then when by the time you get that third 7,200 RPM drive in there, the damn thing is. And I sit in my office.
It's funny though, but because
it makes me nuts.
No, because I had to put these. I had to put these in the caddies.
You
and
have
then
to screw them into the caddies.
Into the caddies, right?
Yeah. So there's no.
You should have put it in the Lincoln.
Oh, there are no screws on yours.
No screws. It's just they look like little pegs, and they go in the holes where the screws go, but they don't thread. So everything is sort of like floating.
So it's kind of vibrating. Is what's happening. Yeah,
it's
because mine is outside of the clicking and clacking that it makes occasionally.
Well, that's normal drive.
Yeah,
clack.
I don't hear anything.
Right, and that's the way it should be. And I complained, and QNAP told me to send them an audio file of it. So I recorded it, sent it to them, and they said, "No, that's normal."
I got to tell you, the people at QNAP were really good when I dealt with them.
They were pleasant, but they didn't like satisfy me. So
why don't you do a review?
I did a review.
And they didn't get back to you, and then maybe offered it.
No, I did a review. I do review on everything.
You couldn't get them to take it back and upgrade to, say, the one I have?
I told them. I said I wanted to upgrade to a different model. And they were like, you got to send us this thing first to let us hear the sound because... and then they came back and they said, no, that's just normal sound. Okay.
Hey, you're a sound guy. You couldn't make it sound like it was the end of the earth.
Yeah, you should have. You should have.
I don't know what I could have made it. What I could have done. And plus, it's loud enough. You know what it is too.
What?
It's not ambient. You're not sitting in the room. You're hearing it come off of a microphone, a recorder. I use my iPhone, and as I was doing it, I'm like, this isn't going to sound like, because you're hearing other ambient noise in the room. It's very different.
What you should have done was you should have placed the iPhone right on top of it.
No, you know what? I didn't think of that.
And then recorded it, and they would have heard this huge rumble, But I'm sorry about that.
I'm going to wind up throwing it out the top window of the house. I'll get more satisfaction than giving it away.
I'm sorry that I'm glad that I went back on my buying it from Woot. And decided to get this version of it, and this version was just
But you know what? I also determined that after having it in the house, I don't really want it. I truly will. I'm not going to buy another one because I don't really want it. I don't really need it. To me, it's just. I thought I wanted it, and then after having it, I'm like, I don't really want it. So I was only going to upgrade because I figured that'd be my only way to not lose my money. So now that they're not going to do it, I sell it for whatever I can get for it, and then I don't want a NAS. I realize I don't want a NAS.
Oh, okay. Well, I like the NAS.
Do you want your storage?
I just think
no, I don't even really need it. I don't keep anything. I don't. What do I keep? If I want to download a movie or something to watch, I watch it and then I delete it. And if I don't keep anything, I don't see some pictures, and I keep them on iCloud or on my laptop or whatever. I don't hoard.
Well, I have 2 NAS drives from Seagate, which they don't make anymore. They're 5 terabytes each, and I keep a lot of TV shows and video and things like that on them. And then I also have another one that's 4 and another one that's 4. So let's see here. What are we up to now? We're up to 18. And then I got the 10 on the what do you call it, drive? On the
sell it to Alex for his other studio. He buys everybody's used stuff.
I don't need it. I don't need it for the other studio because you don't get it for the other studio because all my studios are hooked in to the network.
That's the idea of a NAS.
So I mean, I could take this QNAP and put it in the guest room, and it would run just as well as it does anywhere else because I rewired into the guest room.
Well, that's a good idea for Rob. If it's noisy, put it in a different room. And
where I don't want it in my home theater.
No, just put it in the basement
I don't have any network. I don't have a network connection in the basement.
You have one in what was your studio?
Huh?
You have one in your studio?
I have it. I don't want it in the studio. Not that I use it right now. It's a mess. I can't do anything with it. But yeah, I could put it there temporarily. But if I start using the studio again, you wouldn't want that humming while you got the mic open. So that wouldn't work.
No.
In the office, it makes me absolutely nuts. I try. I just like, I'm going to ignore this, and then it's like torture.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh. So it had to go. I shut it down, and then I was like, I'm not going to put it in my theater. I can put it in here. I've got network connections in here. I don't want it in here either. I mean, bottom line is, I really don't need it.
Well, I was having trouble. I
wanted it. I thought I needed it.
I was having trouble with my network going into the guest room through the wire, so I was having to use the Wi-Fi, which is slower. And then what I did was I got a new wire, new 100 feet of wire that was meant for faster speeds.
What did you get, Cat 6E?
Cat 6E, yeah. And I ran that in there, and now I'm getting like, 700 up and 700 down without even breathing heavily.
So you run that directly to your modem, or
I run it
to your switch?
I want to switcher, yeah. And then it goes out to all the other things that I've got there. And so I could actually now very easily do a show from the guest room now because I've got speed.
When I had the house wired, they asked me if I wanted that, and I was like, okay, what's the cost? And it was some ridiculous cost on top of what, they wanted to charge to wire the house. And it's a racket because they're wiring your house before the walls go up.
Yeah.
So it takes them no time to do. And they wanted to charge me all this money to go with the Cat 6E, and I said, I'm not.
What you do, Rob?
Not a corporate environment. I don't need.
Next house, you go out with a couple boxes of Cat 6E wire and a case of beer, and you say to the guy, "Hey, can you use this instead of that?" And
the problem is you don't know when they're coming. You don't have any clue as to how they're doing what they're doing. You just don't know.
Well, I've got mine tacked to the side of the baseboards, and I'd rather have it that way probably than built into the house, because if it ever goes bad, you've got it wired into the house.
Yeah, it doesn't go. I mean, I had the other house 10 years. That stuff doesn't. You know what it is? You need to check them when they first do them, because a lot of times they don't do a good job of testing them.
Yeah.
So I had two of them here. When I finally connected them, they didn't work. So they have to come in and they got to re-terminate them. They got to cut the connectors and they don't test them. So
I got to tell you though. And this is for people who are listening too, since oddly enough, getting big numbers as we're talking tech. Maybe I've just found the new format. Anyway.
I wondered if you shouldn't do something on the side or whatever, have somebody do something on the side that's all tech talk.
Yeah. Your CNET show was so good. You should do a second show that's like your old CNET show.
Yeah, well, I wanted to shoot myself doing that show. So
really?
Anyway,
like doing that?
No, doing 4 hours, 3 hours every day about technology.
Well, you can do less.
Kind of can get to you after a while.
I can't imagine you doing that, because I can't imagine you staying on topic like that.
Oh,
I learned so much from that show.
Did you have guests?
I didn't listen to his other shows.
I had guests, yeah. And I'd have weird web Wednesdays, and then I would find really weird websites that we'd talk to. We talked to people who had them. But
you have a creative
and I was the only show on CNET that got ratings. Otherwise the numbers were too low to register in the book, and then they asked me to stop doing what I was doing. Why? Well, it doesn't fit with our image. I said, "What is that?" They said, we're the business of technology. And I said, have you looked around lately? There isn't a business left. This is when there was all the furniture on the corners and everything, and Silicon Valley had gone belly up. No, they didn't like somebody doing something that people would listen to. That was a problem for them. The point I was going to make, but I was going to say about Wi-Fi is that most Wi-Fi today, most Wi-Fi boxes you will buy today, are so strong that they will literally get a signal around a huge house without you having to, you know, here I have a bit of a problem because I've got these walls that are like really
they're plaster.
Yeah, they're plaster and they're thick. But in most homes, like your home, Rob, a good centrally located Wi-Fi will
one
take...
isn't enough here. I need two. I have two.
I've
I have
got
one here and one in the front in my office.
Yeah, I have two.
I have an Airport Extreme, and the problem with that is that now I have much faster.
The Apple's a piece of shit.
Right, because now it's restricted to like 150 or one. You know, so even though the speed I have is much faster, if I went directly into the modem, the problem is the Apple Extreme.
Well, what you do is you get what is it? A D-Link has very nice ones for about 150 that will just inundate your house, and a lot of cable companies are now trying to sell you. I can't remember the name of the brand, but literally you place these all. Who?
The mesh.
The mesh.
The new mesh. Yeah. The new mesh technologies. Google has one, and I think Netgear has one. It's called mesh technology, and what you do is you can buy, depending upon the size of your home, you can buy 1, 2, 3, or 4 of these things, and they make a mesh. So automatically, when you go from place to place in your home, the signal switches to the device that's closest to you. It's called mesh.
Yeah, and
it's pretty cool. They work really well.
They all read off of each other, right?
They're all connected. You're on the same network. It doesn't you don't know it, but when the signal gets weaker, the computer automatically switches to the access point that's closest to you.
That's this stuff called EERO Pro Mesh Wi-Fi.
Well, there's that. Google has one.
Linksys, Google Wi-Fi.
Linksys.
Yep. Google one's $99.
It depends on but is that for two or one?
It depends on how many nodes you buy.
Look like one.
That's why, okay, because I think it's about $250 to get 3 of them. But you put one on each level in different parts of the house. You put one. This is the back. I'm pointing this way. This is the back of my house over here. You put one on this level. Then downstairs, you might put one in central, and then up in my upstairs, you put one toward the front of the house. So you've got this mesh that anywhere you are in the house, you get a great signal.
Would that solve your NAS problem and allow you to
because the noise is noise.
Yeah, but if you put it in the closet in the guest bedroom.
Yeah, but
you're talking about. But you wouldn't want to put it.
No, but you can't hook. You can't hook a NAS up to a Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Oh,
and you wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want to.
Well, you can't hook your Drobo up to a Wi-Fi, can you?
No.
Well, my Drobo is storage only. It's not a NAS.
Well,
it's NAS.
It's a NAS.
No, I have one that's just storage. It's not a NAS. It's the 5DT. It does.
Yes, yours connects directly to your computer.
Right. Yeah.
With a Thunderbolt. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a NAS.
Yeah.
Right.
Boy,
it's just lots of storage.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I do like that Mac Pro, man. That thing is screaming. In fact, I now use my old Mac Pro here, and it feels terribly slow to me. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing.
You've been spoiled.
Yeah. Well, let's. Hi, Vernon. How are you? That's Vernon saying, "I'm doing just fine, thank you." Is that what you sent? Am I right? Really? I speak.
Time to go spelunking because somebody caved.
Yeah, I was going to say. You know, I thought the same thing. That he caved more than a Swiss spelunker.
Yeah, February 15th. We'll see.
Phil,
get ready for the wall.
Phil, when are you going to?
There will be no wall, Phil. Come on.
There's not going to
be. February 16th.
You got to get with it.
To paraphrase former Vicente Fox, there's going to be no fucking wall.
No, even the Republicans don't want the wall. Only Trump wants.
How are we going to need the wall to keep the Venezuelans?
Did you hear him today trying to justify a wall? Well, this is going to be a modern wall. Now he's at least admitting that walls are old-fashioned.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he's come around because he got his ass handed to him.
2 times in 1 week, this guy went caving.
Yeah, it's true.
You know?
Hey, you know, you're gloating now. We'll see what happens.
We're not gloating.
We're not gloating. We're saying, I told you so.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, it isn't over. This is just part of the negotiation.
Sure.
Yeah, this is part of the negotiation.
Find a country pretty soon.
Huh? What
Because
is
he's such a great negotiator.
You know, instead of war bonds, we're going to have wall bonds.
Yeah,
you know?
it could
You'll
be.
See. Yeah.
Well, you can contribute to that if you want to, Phil. I won't.
First of all, what I don't understand is supposedly his base is conservative, right?
Mm-hmm.
And conservatives typically don't like to spend lots of money. So why would so he promised the wall. Okay, good. He promised the wall. He also promised that the Mexicans would pay for it. So why would his base, knowing that the Mexicans aren't going to pay for it, want to spend their money on it?
You know, you say his base is conservative, but I don't think his base is conservative necessarily. I think his base comes from basically stupid people in rural America.
Well, look, before you condemn stupid people in rural America, what Trump is saying is that the wall, by building it, will actually save us a lot of money because it costs us so much to prosecute and to deal with illegal alien problems.
Phil, he makes claims that he can't even prove. Did you hear his whole diatribe about women being gagged at the border?
And with duct tape.
With duct tape. I want to know how many of those incidents happened, or did he hear about one happening, and now he's telling America that women are coming into this country with duct tape on their mouths?
The secret that he didn't tell you
Sometimes
was
that's
that
the only way. That's the only way to shut them up.
There was another secret that he didn't tell you. Some were being using electrical tape instead of duct tape. So you got to be careful.
Nah, electrical tape won't stick to your skin.
It won't stick to your skin. Duct tape does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, when he started in with those myths about all these horror stories that he was trying to tell, and then what is this thing he does where he's done this more than once, where all you have to do is turn left. And you can,
I don't know. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, you can turn left, and you heard it, right, Charles?
What does he mean?
He was describing how people can get into the United States without going through a border crossing or something. He said you can turn left. What's he doing? Giving directions to drug dealers?
No, he's just telling them to go to California.
Boy, but I'll tell you, I wasn't that hot for Nancy Pelosi, but I'm taking it all back. She's taking him to the woodshed.
She is. For credit, she is.
What do you mean we'll see? We already have seen, Phil. He's caved twice in 1 week. Have you ever heard of him caving on anything?
The art of the dealer.
Not necessarily, but this is a little more high stakes than a building. And, he wanted to make sure that the people that were suffering didn't suffer any longer. And he has other plans for building the wall.
He's the one that caused them to suffer in the first place.
Well, no, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer,
Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, they passed the bill.
Wait a minute,
they passed the bill because Trump said he would sign it, and then conservative pundits, demanded that he not sign it, so he backed off. Back in December.
Right. And now, did you hear what Ann Coulter said?
Oh, yeah.
What? He says her latest pronouncement is Trump has turned out to be a bigger wimp than the original George Bush.
Well, it's easy for her to say.
Yes, it is easy for her to say.
I agree. You're right.
It's very easy to say because it's true.
No, but it's easy to swipe at people. When he had the pressure.
Wait a minute. Swipe at people.
The American people.
You talking about the bully who writes all those taunts in his tweets? Who calls people Pocahontas and he doesn't have a name for Nancy Pelosi.
No name for Nancy.
Just Nancy.
Just Nancy.
Just Nancy.
Yes, Brian.
So I'm intrigued here. It's like Phil, you are bashing the people like Ann Coulter, like Rush Limbaugh, who are or were instrumental in giving rise to a demagogue like Trump in the first place. If it weren't for those people, there would be no Donald Trump.
No, if it wasn't for the liberal media, there'd be no Donald Trump. If it wasn't for CNN and all those other people that gave him millions and millions of dollars worth of airtime.
You're right.
You're absolutely right about that.
You guys elected him. You guys did it.
No,
it was.
Now you're reaping what you sow.
No. What it was
Vlad.
No, it was
Vlad did it.
It was
Vlad did it.
It was the network. It was the networks who are greedy and will always try and make money.
Right.
Who got him elected because he was good.
Right.
Because he was good copy.
Enjoy it.
There's a friggin' town hall with Camilla on Monday night. I'm like, I'm not watching that. I'm sorry. We're going. Camilla, what's her name?
Camilla Harris,
San Francisco.
Kamala Harris.
CNN is hosting a town hall with her Monday night. I'm like, really? We're already starting this crap? It's about the ratings.
And Bernie Sanders is
I'm the last one.
candidacy.
I'm the last one that should correct anybody, but isn't it Kamala?
It's Kamala. Yeah.
Camilla.
Yeah,
Camilla.
believe me, I'm sorry. I don't deserve to correct anybody when it comes to pronunciation.
Yeah, but she is in your area, so you know the name.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris. But she, I think she's very interesting, and I'm paying attention to her. But I don't think it's time to hold a town hall with her.
Right.
And who knows what these networks are going to do during this election? It isn't a matter of fake news. It never was a matter of fake news. It was a matter of portioning the news in a not too portionate manner. Okay. I mean, Trump got way too much publicity from these guys. He didn't have to spend money on advertising at all because he got all the free advertising he needed from the network, and he knew how to play them like a well-tuned violin. And they should all be ashamed of themselves. And I said that when it was happening.
So you agree with me?
Oh, I said that when it was happening, Phil. You're not telling me anything I haven't been saying all along.
He's very media savvy. There's no question about his ability to manipulate through the media. He's great at it with Twitter.
Well, look at what he did with tweets. He literally got elected and made all his pronouncements through tweets.
Doesn't make him a good president.
And he fires through tweets.
Does everything.
You know why he had the Rose Garden announcement today, right? To distract from the Roger Stone indictment.
Of course.
Well, and it's interesting. Roger Stone says that he won't roll. He won't sell out the president just to save his own ass.
Because you're going to jail, Roger.
Well, maybe he is. But, Roger Stone's the first stand-up guy that was around him.
So now you got
Roger Stone is a wait a minute. Roger Stone is a stand-up guy.
The indictments brought against Roger Stone are not just things Roger Stone says. Robert Mueller has all of that stuff corroborated by other people and by other documents.
Right, but Roger Stone was Manafort's partner for 10 years, and all of the stuff that they're taking him down on had to do with prior things. Now there's that one.
Phil, shut up, Phil, shut up. Listen, listen to
5 counts of lying.
It's lying.
It's lying, Phil. You aren't even paying attention to the news. You don't know what he's getting busted on.
The WikiLeaks thing.
And lying about the president and lying about the campaign.
That he lied to Congress. He perjured himself before Congress, and that's what he got busted for today.
He said before Congress, I thought he took the fifth, and I thought he said he didn't remember anything.
No, he said some stuff.
They were pissed that he didn't give them any information.
Yeah, as long as they still stay loyal to Trump, they'll all get a pardon.
That's Bree, by the way. Yeah.
If you stay loyal. And Kamala Harris's major contributor to her funds and her campaigns is Time Warner.
Really?
They're number one.
George Soros?
I hate to tell you this, Bree. There isn't any Time Warner any longer.
That's right. They
Warner
got bought.
Media?
Warner Media, maybe, yeah.
AT&T, isn't it?
Then that's AT&T, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Gabnet bought them.
Yeah. No, I don't. So is it AT&T then, Bree, or is it? It's not Time Warner. Time Warner doesn't exist.
I thought it did.
No.
They
sold it.
They got bought by our cable company. Was Time Warner, and it got bought by Charter, but they're doing business as Spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's for the local cable.
That's for the cable systems, but the actual Time Warner Communications, the movies, the magazines, all of that was bought up by AT&T.
Warner Media Group.
Warner Media Group, right.
It's comprised of HBO, Warner Brothers, Turner. They're all under Warner
That's
Media
why
Group.
Kamala Harris is getting the town hall. They like her.
Yeah, of course they like her. I like her.
Yeah, but it's too early to get into this stuff.
She takes a lot of
Well, you know something? We could say it's too early, but unfortunately it isn't because they're all jumping in right now. You know?
True.
The mayor of South Bend, Indiana, has thrown his hat in the ring.
Yeah, but somebody who had thrown his hat in the ring today quit the presidential race.
Ran out of money?
I can't remember who it was. It was somebody I never heard of.
Richard Ojeda.
Somebody probably tapped him on the shoulder and said,
Charles?
You don't want to do this.
Charles, what'd you say?
It was Richard Ojeda who suspended his campaign today.
Really? When did he start it? Last week?
He was the first person to announce. He announced in December.
Well, listen,
I think it'd be a better choice for VP.
I think I probably should use this platform and this opportunity to announce my candidacy for president on the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Might as well.
Might as well. Exactly. Everybody else is, you know.
And none of them. I don't think anybody who was announced can beat Trump.
I think Elizabeth Warren could.
No. Are you kidding me?
In the water.
No.
She couldn't even beat him with a tomahawk.
Nope.
Even Kamala Harris, did you see her ad? It was like truth, freedom, democracy.
I don't think Trump has a chance.
These are words.
I think people are fed up with Trump.
The
more people I talk to, the more people who say I voted for him, I won't again.
I think the nomination has to go to someone. I don't know. That could be Biden or it could be Kamala Harris. Whoever. Wait a minute.
Kamala.
Well, let me finish. I know Biden's too old. I agree with you. But the point of the matter is that although you know something's interesting, if Biden runs for president, he'll be probably the same age Trump is, if I'm not mistaken, or close to it.
Yeah, very close.
Well, what the Democrats need is fresh blood.
Well, what I'm saying, they need somebody who will take him to the woodshed, who won't put up with shit. Now, Biden won't put up with his shit. So so he becomes a formidable candidate in that respect.
Except in 2 years, he might not remember what the shit is.
Well, how about Trump? Trump's as old as he is.
Yeah,
Trump was the oldest president elected to a first term.
Trump can't remember what he did last December.
He can't remember what lie he told last December.
Yeah, he just has to look at his Twitter feed.
Yeah.
He just don't care.
Yeah. But, I mean...
keep telling him.
The question of who the perfect nominee is, I mean, the reason I say Kamala Harris is a good candidate is, she's attractive. She's well-spoken, intelligent, and nobody knows who the fuck she is. And that was the advantage. That was the advantage Obama had. That was the advantage that Clinton had.
But you know what, my brother and I were talking on the phone about this today, and he said people are turned off to strong women, and so there's never going to be a woman president. No, well, I should never, but we're not ready for that yet because people are turned, especially men, are turned off to really powerful, strong women. He believes that's one of the main reasons why Hillary didn't get elected, because men are just not ready for a strong. You have to be very assertive, very strong, and lots of men are turned off to that.
Well, you know, we could have said that about a black president, but we found one that somehow didn't feel threatening to the white population of this country. That's
the thing.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren is very strident, whereas Kamala Harris, I don't know, she comes off a little bit more humane.
Yeah.
I think it's her look. It's her, she's very, very... like stern looking.
She's a very handsome woman.
No, I'm talking about the Warren, Elizabeth
Warren. Oh, terrible.
She looks like a
She has good teeth and can pull a plow.
She is less. She is less attractive as a candidate than Hillary. Okay, if there is any such thing.
The camera doesn't like her. She doesn't photograph well. I remember all my days in television.
Well, that's why I'm saying Kamala Harris, who nobody really knows from, okay, can go in with somewhat of a clean slate because there's not enough mileage on her for them to like shove any stuff in her face. Whereas
but she still takes corporate PAC money.
Yeah, well,
I don't like that.
Yeah, well, you know something?
Just remember, she's a product of Willie Brown, and that's what you're going to get in Kamala Harris.
Well, good. I'm terrific. Wonderful. I think that's terrific. You just convinced me to vote for her.
Willie Brown?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you love Willie Brown.
I love Willie Brown. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I want Michael Bloomberg to run.
No, you don't want Michael Bloomberg.
Yes.
We'll all be
no
drinking
soda
small
for you.
soda.
Because he is a neutral. He is like the most neutral. He's neither Republican or Democrat.
Yeah, but he can't
take away everything.
He can't get elected because of one major reason. He's Jewish.
Mm.
So now here's the thing I couldn't figure out. To begin with, I love and adore Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Yep. I love her politics. I love her stridency. I love the way she doesn't take shit from anybody. And that's just in the first 3 weeks she's been a congresswoman, you know. And I can't figure out why Phil doesn't like her, because also I think she's hot.
Well, she is hot, but you know the thing is, she's a communist. You know, she's
not a communist.
She's not a communist, Phil.
There's a difference.
Phil.
Yeah,
Phil.
Yeah, 1 degree.
No, Phil. Don't call somebody a communist when they're not a communist. She's not a communist.
Have you listened to what she says?
Yes.
What she wants?
Absolutely. She's a socialist. She's right
what's
up
her platform?
She's right up my alley.
All right. Well, she's definitely not up mine.
Yeah. Well, you'd
although
like to.
She is hot.
Yeah. This is how guys talk, you know. I don't like her politics, but I fuck her. You know. I know that's politically incorrect. Send the Me Too people over my way. I'll give you the address.
It'll help the ratings.
Yeah.
You know, another guy that used to run for president that was in the media was Pat Paulson. You know, look what it did for his career.
Stephen Colbert did once too.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Very briefly.
Yeah.
Howard Stern could
until he found out he'd have to give up his TV show.
Yeah.
And Stephen Colbert was exploring the idea of running for president until he found out that he'd have to give up his TV show.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. And I wouldn't.
Alex wouldn't do it because he wouldn't give up Gabnet.
No? Yeah. Right. You know. I
don't think he'd have to do that because Trump didn't have to give up his business.
Media is something else. Yeah. You know, the media is something else. You know, most people that run that are newscasters and things like that, they have to separate.
Get appointed by Trump to the UN.
Yeah, but is that still the case anymore? Because there's no more equal time rules in broadcasting. And one time, there should be. Yes, I agree with you. There should be equal time rules like there used to be.
Right. Right.
That's one thing I don't like about Bill Clinton is that he did away with that.
Yep. That was part of the 1996 Communications Act.
Wait a minute.
It was before that.
Well, what did he do? He did several things that he did away with the equal time provision. What it was all part of a Telecommunications Act that included phone business, and that's what he really wanted to sign it for, not all the other stuff that was thrown in there. And part of that was the equal time provision. And I think I think it took the cap off of how many radio stations you could own, if I remember
in the
correctly.
90s. Yeah, but
He ruined the radio business.
I think Charles is right, though. I think it was Reagan who changed the equal time
Right,
rules.
you're absolutely right,
Fairness
Charles.
doctrine,
It was Clinton who deregulated broadcasting, basically.
Right.
Yeah, and then where you could only own a handful of stations at the time, now you could go out and clear
How
the
many
board
stations in a market?
6 a.m. and 6 FM around the country. Right. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
and 7 TV
or a newspaper, it changed the flow of what you could own.
No, if you owned a newspaper, you could in a given market. If you owned a newspaper, you could only have 7 AM, 7 FM, or a radio station and a TV station, but you couldn't have all three.
Yeah.
So you had to divest yourself of the newspaper if you wanted all three, or you had to divest yourself of one of the. See, I mean, that was how that worked.
See,
now with digital media, it doesn't matter.
Right, and that's when you go back and you start looking at those rules and why they were in place, they made a lot of sense, because now it's too much. There's too much.
Hands of two feet.
Well, what happened was when you applied for a radio station with the Federal Communications Commission, one of the things you had to show is that you had the financial wherewithal to go 3 years without making a profit to keep a radio station going. These questions stopped getting asked, and that's why you have iHeartRadio, which was formerly Clear Channel, which bought up 1,200 radio stations from coast to coast on the verge of bankruptcy, because nobody asked those questions anymore.
Because it became just about the business and not about the public airway.
And the rules existed because they didn't want anybody to have a monopoly in this kind of media. And so therefore you wouldn't have things like, what's that TV outfit that Sinclair. They could never have existed in the old days. They could have, they could have tried to dominate.
Bill Clinton.
Huh?
Hey,
thank you, Bill Clinton.
Thank you, Bill Clinton. Also, thank you, Bill Clinton, for NAFTA. Bill Clinton.
Which one had the subliminal messages?
No, I take exception to Bill Clinton and NAFTA.
Okay,
Alex.
Okay,
and I'll tell you why.
Okay,
Bush wanted
it was brought up. It was brought up by George H.W. Bush,
right?
And the Congress that was in control at that time, when H.W. lost the presidency to Bill Clinton, they passed it in both houses with veto-proof majorities. So Clinton didn't have a choice. He either had to sign it or he was going to have his veto overridden.
Okay, well, then I will defer to you.
And during the election, that's when Perot ran against George H.W. Bush because he was against NAFTA.
And he talked about that giant sucking sound.
Right.
Yeah. We didn't realize that also happened to be Ross Perot, but,
Yeah, well, that's why I voted for him.
You voted for Perot?
Oh, God, Phil, you shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Hey, your business manager, I understand, voted for Perot.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, I'll give Phil credit for voting as principal. I may not agree with him, considering that he ran under the reform ticket, but it's better than a two-party duopoly we've had for the last 40, 50, 60, 70 fucking years.
But we're never going to break that. That's just the way the system was
created. We're never going
to
break that as long as we deceive and delude ourselves into believing that we won't. Otherwise, Patty Hearst level Stockholm syndrome bullshit, psychological trickery.
Oh, I don't think. I don't think Ross Perot. I don't think Ross Perot was a stand-up guy.
Yeah, he sent guys into Iran to get his people out when our government wouldn't do it. So he did what was required. He did what was right, and he succeeded at it. And I think he's a hero.
Who?
I did not
Ross
know that.
Perot,
thank you for telling me that.
Yeah, I mean, think of all the number of people. If Bloomberg or Kasich ran as a third party, they could siphon enough votes away from Trump to give the candidate, for the Democrats an advantage.
Bloomberg.
That's what Ross Perot did. But
Bloomberg wouldn't siphon. But Bloomberg wouldn't siphon anything from Trump. He'd siphon from the Democrats.
But Kasich could.
I don't think so. I think Kasich is wounded from the previous one.
Well, he's thinking of running again, and he's thinking of running as a third party.
I would vote for Kasich. I would vote for Kasich.
I wouldn't. Not for Kasich.
I don't know. Kasich's only mistake in the last election was he got in too late.
I like Kasich. as a Republican, as far as Republicans go.
Yeah. Well, what I loved was if you go back and you look at that, and God knows, I mean, we talk about how many people are going to be running on the Democratic Party in these primaries, but think about how many people were running for president under the Republican ticket in those primaries.
Let's hope they do that. Let's hope they challenge him. Wait a minute. This year.
But what happened was these were seasoned political veterans who were completely gobsmacked and sideswiped by his demeanor and didn't know how to handle it. I think now if somebody comes along, they will know how to handle it.
Absolutely.
Because wait a minute, because Nancy Pelosi has shown the way. Okay?
No. Lawrence Lessing, ran on the Democratic ticket, and he was not allowed to debate because the polls that he needed to have so many polls where he was above 1%. And when he got that many polls, then they changed the rules so that he could not be on the dais.
Yeah, you don't understand. They what they do, and to begin with, the debates. Wait a minute. No, you're not making the point because you're making the wrong point. Because you're wrong.
No, because what will happen is if you got 30, 40 candidates, how is any one of them going to get enough polling numbers?
Let me inform you that to begin with, if I'm not mistaken, these debates, the early debates, are usually held by various networks. Okay.
Yes,
later on, let me finish. The later debates are, I think, to this day, still run by the League of Women Voters or somebody like that. And they always had a rule that if you didn't make it in the top 3 or top 2 or a certain percentage, you then could go to the other debate with the kids at the dinner at the the table in the other room who were having dinner. They have the lesser candidates debate, and I thought that was always wrong because everybody should be allowed to debate everybody.
But the Democrats didn't have a kids table in the last election. So what happened was they excluded Lessing because of that, so what I'm saying is that because he was so low in those polls and not enough polls based on their rules, that means that they're going to really narrow down very quickly who the front runners are going to be on the Democratic side because it's so diluted that you're not going to have anyone probably or very few people reach the limit that they've set needed to debate.
The media will determine it. The media will determine.
Yeah. Well, how come the media didn't determine Lessing? Not that I supported him, but
they determined Trump.
They determined Trump. You're quite right, Bree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for their bottom line.
Yeah,
still is.
But Trump got enough numbers not to be at the kids' table. He was always in the center of the group.
Wasn't there one point at which he was low enough that he almost wasn't going to be in the?
They moved him one over when who's the black guy that's in his cabinet now? Dr.
Carson.
Carson for one reason or another increased and moved Trump over one slot.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting
Trump
for.
is the.
Wait, let Bree talk. Bree.
I'm still waiting for someone to come in who will be disruptive and will not be a politician. I'm wondering if that can happen on the Democrat side. Like, would a Mark Cuban come in and say, "I'm running as a Democrat"?
We don't need that. We need people who are politicians. We've already proven people who are not in politics don't know how to run government.
Let me speak to the benefit of politicians for a second. That when your plumbing goes bad, you go out and you hire a plumber. You don't hire some guy who's never fixed pipes before. And just like any other profession, being a politician is that kind of profession. They know how to fight the fight. They know where the bodies are buried. They know how you play the game, and they're professionals. And
we saw that the last couple of days.
And what you're having with Trump, for instance, the guy's not a professional. And you'd like to think that's always our great American dream, that Mr. Smith goes to Washington and the common man can suddenly become president of the United States. I got to tell you, once he gets there, he is so gobsmacked by everything that's happened to him, he doesn't know how to do it. I mean,
you know the other problem with running for president? If you're not a billionaire now, you can't afford it.
What do you mean? Obama wasn't a billionaire.
Well, he probably is close to one now.
No, he wasn't when he ran.
Yeah, because he had billionaires.
And by the way,
behind him,
Clinton wasn't.
like Oprah Winfrey.
Clinton wasn't a billionaire. And by the way, I'll also don't start.
No,
you're trying to. You made
right
a
now.
statement, Phil, and your statement was you have to be a billionaire to win, and the answer is no, you don't.
Yeah, well, we'll see. With what gets spent on these elections, if you can't control it unless you have your own money, like
How
Trump did.
How much do you think Trump spent of his own money on this
I
campaign?
thought $40 million.
No.
What did he spend?
I don't think he spent hardly anything. I don't think he had $40 million, Phil. I think the biggest lie in America is that he was a billionaire.
Well, it cost $40 million to run his plane.
The plane was being run by his company.
Yeah. Which he held personally.
He held personally?
Yeah, it's his company.
According to Fortune.com, he spent $66 million on his campaign.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Did he get that back after he won from the RNC?
I thought he did.
No, why would he get it back?
I think that's how.
It could be a loan. Could have been a loan.
Yeah.
You know.
I thought, if you win or if you get a certain percentage, you get money back from towards the campaign. Remember, Perot had 19 or 20%, and therefore he got money back, and Anderson had 12%, and he got money back.
Do you want to know if
he made more money than anything else?
If you run for president in the primaries, and then if you run in the primaries, the money you get for your campaign after it's over, you can keep.
Yeah, but you can only spend it on other political things. They changed that law, and so you can't use it personally.
But at the time that Al Sharpton ran for president, why do you think he ran for president?
Yeah.
For the money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe they don't do it like that anymore, but they were doing it back then. And,
Yeah, I think there's restrictions. You can either finance your own campaign or put it into other campaigns, but you can't just take it.
So we have a whole breadth and width of America people here. Who would be the perfect candidate to go up against Trump in 2 years? I mean, of anybody. You could pick anybody. You could pick a movie star. You could pick a politician. You could pick your nose. Who would you? Who would you pick?
Bloomberg.
You'd pick Bloomberg.
He's too weak.
Yep.
You think he's weak?
New York.
You think he's weak? I mean, he became mayor of this town 3 times.
Right.
Yeah, because he's a Democrat.
No, he happened to be when he first ran. If I remember
network.
correctly, he was a Republican.
He was
governor
when he first started out,
and then he was a Democrat, and then he was an independent.
But look what you've had for mayors. You got Dinkins.
No, wait a minute, Phil. What aboutism is? Don't change the subject.
Anybody can get elected as mayor.
You're changing. Wait, no, not anybody can get elected mayor.
Yeah, they would have elected Weiner if he didn't screw up a second time.
Well, Weiner would have been a good bet. I think he's still a good bet. The only thing is he can't keep his penis out of tweets.
Yeah. Well, maybe he should run.
I mean, when you think about it, he was more principled than Trump. Come on, Phil. Come on, Phil. When are you going to give up the ghost on this fucking deal with Trump? Come on.
Hey,
how often does he have to cave in? How often does he have to have one of his close friends arrested?
This is a learning experience, this cave issue, and I don't think he's going to go Neanderthal anytime soon again. This is the last cave he's entering. And
he'd be nuts to close the government, shut the government down again.
No, I don't think he will.
Romney might run against Trump.
Romney.
We haven't talked about the latest scandal that happened this week either, Alex, and that is these security clearances.
Oh yeah.
That have been issued in the White House to people who did not qualify. They had FBI background checks, and the security people in the White House, the professionals, said, no, we shouldn't give a security clearance to this guy, and they got overridden by a supervisor who was brought in specifically to get the backlog taken care of.
And we're talking about Jared Kushner, for
Jared
instance.
Kushner.
Yeah. He's one of 30.
And
over 30 people in the White House
who
got clearance.
Ivanka, I believe, is another one that got clearance that shouldn't have gotten clearance.
Wasn't there a guy that...
I think Trump is one of them, possibly.
There was a communications guy.
No, Rob Porter. Yeah, President's secretary.
Yeah.
If a Democrat had done that, if Obama had done that, oh my God.
Yeah, well, he had Farrakhan.
What?
His advisor, or that preacher, White.
Were they getting security clearances against the FBI's recommendation?
They were sleeping in the Lincoln. They were all sleeping in the Lincoln bedroom.
Who gives a crap where they
to do with
sleep?
The security clearance.
Yeah. Well,
you're making excuses, Phil. There's a lot of shit going on that you're just excusing because of the cult that you're in.
Well, we don't know. You see, I always believe that people are innocent until proven guilty. All these are accusations.
No. This is the FBI background check, Phil.
Yeah,
this is not just an accusation.
Sure,
this
that's
is
the FBI.
We don't believe the FBI
That's
anymore.
the FBI that got the dossier from Bruce and Nellie Orr and the FISA warrants.
Contrary to what Fox News said, Phil, the FISA warrants were not issued because of the dossier.
According to
Fox News, it were. According to Fox News, it was, but that's not true.
It's because they're the only ones telling the truth.
No.
Yeah, you think CNN? You guys won't listen to anything else but the dribble that you get from CNN and
I listen
MSNBC.
to Fox News every once in a while
ABC
until it turns
and
my
NBC.
stomach, and I want to go to the bathroom and throw up.
Well, I do the same thing with CNN and CBS.
CBS?
Yeah.
What cable channel do they have?
I have CBS Live.
That's internet.
And that's all I have is internet. And I have CBSN.
What I think is funny is when Hannity will interview Mark Levin, and it's like, media interviewing media, and then pretending that that's some kind of expert.
Mark Levin? But he's a pundit.
Yeah, he's a media dude. He has a radio show, so it's like the radio TV's interviewing each other as if that's...
Well, that's
somehow.
like Glenn Beck. I mean, Mark Levin, Glenn Beck. They're all very similar. I don't think that they're going to give
By
you
the
unbiased...
way, Glenn Beck. Every now and then I would watch his channel here because he had the Blaze on our FiOS cable system. FiOS has dropped him all over the country.
Did they drop Dr. Gene Scott? Because Glenn Beck and Dr. Gene Scott.
Nobody even knows who you're
similarity.
talking about, Phil. What do you mean? No, Glenn Beck. I'll tell you something. I watch Glenn Beck. I don't agree with him, and he's full of shit. But boy, he's good at parsing
He's on Sirius.
Huh? I know they've got Blaze on Sirius. Yeah.
Didn't he used to do that thing with the chalkboard, just like Gene Scott? And he
he had his whole thing. Yeah, but he. I watch him because I consider him good at what he does. I don't agree with what he does, but he's good at what he does. But they've canceled him all over the country on FiOS, so you can't get him on any Verizon channels anymore. So
I never did.
Yeah. So I didn't have that to watch anymore, and then I'll go over to Fox every now and then. But it's so difficult to watch them. I agree with you, Vernon. It's like you watch Fox for 10 minutes and you got to go take a shower. You feel filthy.
It's the other way around for me. It's like, geez, I watch these other ones and you just get tired of the smirks.
Oh, no. Phil, I'm the first one to agree with you. I'm tired of MSNBC and being so partisan that there's just no reliability in them as a news source. That anytime I tune in there, I know they're going to be complaining about Trump or about something Trump did.
Sounds
about
like GabNet.
Well, no. I mean, all I'm saying is that they have a one-trick pony over there. I think CNN's a little bit better in that respect because they're a little less partisan, but they are anti-Trump because Trump is anti-CNN. Right. You know, they didn't like the fact that that Trump made the lives of their reporters a little more dangerous, that he put them in harm's way because of his rhetoric.
Well, you know, that's a reporter's job. You know,
no, it's not a reporter's job to have the President of the United States saying that you should all be fucking shot and arrested and you're all fake news and you're this and you're that. No, well, you don't. You don't put the reporters, when you point at reporters and say those are the people you should get. When you in a rally you do that, you're putting them in harm's way, Phil, and that's wrong.
Did any of them get attacked?
Yes.
How about bomb scares and bombs being sent to CNN and other?
That was a crazy person.
Well, who was he supporting? You see his truck?
Did you see his truck with all the Trump paraphernalia on it?
Come on, Phil, you're more intelligent than that.
You know,
that was a...
What?
Did you say yes or no, Phil?
What? I said it was a nice truck.
Yeah.
I wonder if he wants to sell it.
Oh yeah, it had nothing but you know.
Yeah, you know, there was crazies that came out against Obama, and there was crazies that came out against Bush, and they used to burn Bush in effigy. And
did they? When did you ever see Bush burned in effigy?
They used to have a noose with a Bush thing, and they burn it. And
did they send bombs around in the mail?
I'll show you more of mine.
But they weren't real bombs.
What were you saying, Bree?
They were road flares.
What were you saying, Bree?
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, somebody said something. Who?
Rob. Yeah. He said, did they send bombs around?
Oh, I know that. No, they didn't. No, I mean, I think that Trump has given a sense of permission to people to attack reporters. He did that at all of his rallies. I mean, he was going, those are the people back there. Those are the people you should get.
Well, did you see the people that were outside, the Antifada and all of those other groups?
What aboutism? What aboutism? What about?
Oh,
what
well,
about?
Hey,
what about?
What
about?
Let him, you know, he's defending himself.
How many vote that was whataboutism, folks? Just raise your hand.
Yeah. Well,
I think CNN is getting behind Kamala Harris. I think they've determined that's going to be the one they're going to support.
I don't know that that's necessarily the case, Bree. I mean, I think...
Why is she getting a town hall?
If it's too early, they burn out.
She's getting a town hall because I think she is a very attractive candidate and they can get some ratings out of it. Okay? I think that's precisely why.
They're going to chew her up and spit her out because if you go into the race this early and you peak, then the only place you can go is down. And I think that's what's going to happen to her and any other strong candidate that peaks early.
Trump peaked early.
No, he got he didn't get in.
Yes, he did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But it was only like 3 months or 4 months. How many months was the campaign going on where they started having the debates and so forth?
Oh, they were doing the debates well before the first of the year. I think those debates were starting to happen. Yes, Vernon.
So this is 2 years.
Vernon.
I like Jay Inslee, the governor of Washington State. I mean, you look at the economy that he's produced up in that state. He's raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour, and instead of losing jobs like the Republicans would like to make you think raising the minimum wage would lose jobs, it's actually grown jobs in the state of Washington.
I think I know who you're talking about. I think I know
Jay
the situation.
Inslee.
Yeah,
he hasn't said he's going to run yet, but he's exploring the idea.
Well, you know,
everybody is.
Everybody is. It's going to be a rather large field, which I think is going to start getting pared down pretty damn fast, because some of them are reasonably going to look at the crowd that they're in the middle of and go, I can't win this. Charles, anybody appeal to you?
No, I mean, I told you who I like is Elizabeth Warren, but y'all don't think she's a good candidate. So,
well, I think she's, whatever you think about her politically or whatever, that's fine. But the fact is, I don't think she can win.
She shot herself in the foot with the DNA test.
Well, it wasn't so much that. It was just her general handling of things is just a little too strident, and it's not the kind. When we're talking about somebody, look who won the last election, a TV reality star. Right. And barely a TV reality star, not one of the really successful ones. But he won. That's, this is a race that is dictated by the media of the times. And if you can't look good on television, sound good on television, and play to that television camera, and use the social media and all of that, you haven't got a chance. Now, can you imagine Elizabeth Warren using social media?
Yeah, Q rating. Q rating matters.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be. I often used to say it's the media of the time that dictate who can be the most popular candidate. And when it was when they were in the early days when they would go from town to town on trains, it was whoever looked best from the back of a train. Then when it came to radio, it came to who sounded best on radio. I submit FDR. Okay. Mm-hmm. Who nobody really saw that much, but they certainly heard him, and that voice was really cut through the radio. Yeah. And when it came to when TV came in, who got elected? JFK. Okay, he was made for television, and so each media, each time is dictated by the media in which people use it as the circus.
Except Howard Dean didn't win when the internet came in.
Well, Howard
Dean
lost
because he became a meme.
You know what Howard Dean? Why Howard Dean lost? If you think about it,
he screamed at a rally.
No, don't forget about that screaming. The screaming was bad enough, but that was because the only mic on was his microphone. If you had heard the crowd going, yeah,
but that's what did it.
Then it wouldn't sound so bad. And
it became a meme.
It became a meme because all you could hear was him shouting into the microphone.
Didn't he run against George H.W. Bush?
No.
Who did Howard Dean?
He didn't run for president.
He was number one in the polls for the Democrats
for a while, and then who got the nomination that year? Somebody who lost, I think, got the nomination that year. We always forget about who the losers were.
McGovern.
McGovern, Hubert Humphrey.
Stevenson.
Yeah. And Stevenson, you got to give him credit. Stevenson, this goes back to...
my mother voted for Stevenson.
This goes back to when Eisenhower was running. Stevenson lost to Eisenhower. Right? And then he got nominated again. Yeah. And lost again to Eisenhower. Who by that time had 2 heart attacks or something, but he still couldn't beat him.
Dean tried to become the nominee in 2004, but he was beat out by John Kerry.
Okay. Who was another bad idea. You have to think about, do we have an appealing candidate? Now, like Trump is not an appealing candidate, but what Trump is that appeals and cuts through all the clatter is that he's a cartoon. And that he can be parodied and he can be made fun of and all of that.
So was Obama.
Obama, no. Obama didn't make a very good cartoon. The ears, and that was about it. But with Trump, you got everything from fat face to fat body to fat hands to little penis to mushroom dick. Yes, Jeff.
Like Trump because of the hate factor.
You think the hate factor cut through?
Yeah. I think a lot of people like Trump because they don't like whatever.
Yeah.
They don't like black people. They don't like Mexican people. They don't like. They don't like people who are poor. They don't like people who are too rich, not rich. You know, it's anybody who they don't like.
Right. Right.
Trump was their favorite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what Trump would basically say is "fuck you" to everybody.
Yeah. But I mean,
really
what we've got
that was their biggest advantage.
So yes,
it was like we won't listen to the regular people.
Right.
We'll talk directly to you guys.
Brian.
You gotta open your mic, Brian.
Maybe he's muted. Well, Trump shook things up.
Yeah. Yes, Brian.
Hold on.
There you go. Okay, we can
You
hear
can
you.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just going to say to Jeff, as a talk, I think it was Avi Ravenhoff on the occasions that I vaguely recall who said this, and he was right about this when he said that the reason why Trump was appealing to so many people on the right who ordinarily wouldn't vote on the right was that it was okay. I will give you your racism, but I'll also give you your economic protectionist rhetoric as well.
Yeah. Yeah. But
the other part that we have to remember is Mrs. Clinton.
She wasn't likable.
She was the worst. She was the worst candidate you could possibly.
Yep.
I couldn't stand her.
None of us liked her.
You know, and I know that people are going to say, well, you know,
choice.
She really screwed Bernie out of the nomination, but he would have lost big time too.
I don't know about that.
I don't think so. I highly doubt that.
Really?
You have Trump supporters who said they would have voted for Bernie Sanders instead. I disagree vehemently with you on that.
I would have voted
Sanders
for Bernie.
Cortez.
Huh?
Bernie Sanders Cortez. You know, he is in the same school as Ocasio-Cortez, and Bernie Sanders didn't have a chance.
Bernie Sanders says he's a socialist. Well, you know, I'll tell you. I think that if things get bad enough in this country financially, and they are getting there, believe it or not, no matter what you say, I mean, the stock market is shitty, and people have jobs, but they're less than they've been paid before. If things get bad enough, it's going to happen. What happened in the right after the Depression, a lot of people started thinking about being communists, because this was an answer to socialism. That socialism didn't seem to be working. In fact, I'll be the first one to say here that I don't think socialism is working. You know, because it is, if you have something like socialism to the extreme, to the exclusion of everything else is bad, and capitalism to the exclusion of everything else is bad, what you need is a healthy dose of both. You know, a good example.
That's what we have.
China. No, we don't. No, we don't.
You keep telling me the police department is social, the fire department.
No, I'm saying when you don't like socialism, you got to realize the police department is socialistic because we're pooling our resources to have a police department.
Nothing can ever be
and they're
black
also
or white.
authoritarian.
You can't be that black or
Well,
white.
all I'm saying is we don't have enough social programs to take care of the people. And you know, when somebody's sick, they should have at their disposal the best possible medical care that you can
and dental
that you can have. Yes.
Well,
that
there's always half off dental in Dubai.
I'm running on universal dental care.
I don't think one person in America should die because of lack of proper health care. And they're dying every day because of lack of proper health care. People are not going to doctors and getting checkups because they can't afford to, you know, and no, Phil, there aren't programs for that. Either you have the money to get the checkup or you don't have the money to get the checkup, you know, and this is why we need a healthy dose of socialism in this country. And to take care of the
AOC says billionaires in a society is immoral.
You know what I heard the other day? You want this statistic? This one will really get you.
26
That's
people.
it. Give them the statistic, Bree.
Yeah, they have 20%
saw
of the
that.
wealth.
No,
20%
20% of the wealth, Phil. 99% of the wealth that the other 50% have.
Well,
the 50%
now there's,
have.
Bezos's wife is going to join them.
Look, again, whataboutism? It has nothing to do with the discussion.
Well, that means there'll be 23.
No, all I'm saying
but Bill Gates still waits in line for a burger.
It's 26 people have the money that the bottom 50% of the world have.
And one of them is Dell, and he was in a panel recently where he questioned AOC's 70% tax. He said, name a country where that has worked. And the MIT professor immediately said, America. The US.
The United States back in the 50s. It was actually 90% back in the 50s.
Nobody paid that because you could write off everything. I remember my father bought a boat because you could write it off.
Yes, you could write it off, but I'm saying that if you made over $1 million, you paid 90% tax. Now you could start knocking things off and things like that, but the fact
was,
you
knocked it down quite a bit.
Yeah, but you know that I do believe that we should tax the rich. I absolutely believe in that. They're benefiting the most from this country.
Elizabeth Warren says she wants to do it.
In the Gabnet store, you should start selling pitchforks and torches.
Oh, we have.
It will come to that if need be.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much it's going to take for a compliant America to suddenly rise up and say we're not going to put up with this shit any longer.
Like I said, Alex, earlier, when we finally overcome our Patty Hearst level of like codependence, abused relationship bullshit. Stockholm syndrome bullshit. Yeah, then maybe it will come to that finally.
We kind of are living in a country where we have a Stockholm syndrome. You know, the country treats you like shit, and then you go, give me some more.
If anybody watched Bill Maher's show last week, his last, you know how he always does that little speech after New Rules?
Yeah.
It was fantastic. It was all about how Americans have become, how the middle class has gone, how he compared it to the airlines, how you used to have a nice big wide seat with plenty of legroom. And and you got great food, and then they took away a little. He goes, you never do it all at once, but they taken away a little at a time and a little more, and you get comfortable with it. And they take away a little bit more until and it was a great final speech. I was like, I
remember
so
listening
true.
to it and saying it was pretty damn good.
It was amazing. Yeah.
I just read something that said that these planes, the seats are getting smaller and smaller, but they're not running at capacity anymore. That there's a lot of open seats on these planes that have such high capacity.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, because and the article I read. Yeah, the article I read showed all the open seats on different.
Speaking of which, a lot of the airports are closing down now, or they're reducing flights because of the government shutdown.
Oh, that's called the ground.
Over, and that's over.
Yeah, it's over, but it was called the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that kind of wraps it up for tonight. What have we learned tonight? That Trump is in the business of spelunking now. So it's good. He's caving. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Rob, I agree with you. Thumbs up on that one. Charles Wallace, always a pleasure. It's so nice that we have you here again, and we hope we'll have you more and more, just like we have been all along. Brian, we'll probably see you over on the next show, right? Jack Bishop's Intersection. And Bree, always nice having you here.
I'll see you next week.
Yeah, I know it's a little early, so you don't like to show a picture of yourself.
Yeah, I'm still waking up.
Still waking up.
And it's a Saturday.
Yeah. Phil Meyer, thank you once again for giving us
No problem. Just build the wall.
And Vernon, thank you so much. Do you want to say goodbye in your normal way? There we go. Anyway, everybody, give a big wave goodbye to the folks out there, okay? Bye-bye. Okay, that's our citizen panel for tonight. Let me just say goodbye to them here so that I can make room for the next show to use our Skype lines. That would be Jack Bishop in the Intersection. We're off until Tuesday at 9:30. You got the Exchange with Damian Chaplin, and then of course at 10 o'clock right here at GapNet. Same time, same station in life. 10 o'clock. And if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? I really do.